Nolan Booth, the second most wanted art thief in the world.
I live my best life in Bali. And there's so many references in this film as
and
well.
they all come from Ryan Reynolds. It's just him like playing his like natural, because Ryan Reynolds is just known these days, especially since doing Deadpool, that he just plays all these like fourth wall breaking, Easter egg making characters.
Hi guys.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Fortune Theory. Here we are again for another main video. God, it feels like ages since we did the last one together. This time we're talking about a new film that's just come out on Netflix today, Red Notice, starring Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. I'll let Pat explain the initial premise. We've both just watched the film. We've got different opinions and reviews on it. I'll let Pat kick us off with an explanation.
So, if you haven't seen the trailers or watched it, go watch it, regardless of whether you like it or not. The trailers do a great job of it, unlike some films that have terrible trailers. It's based on an FBI agent that is going after the world's most wanted con man. He has Red Notice, hence the film's title, and he's going after him because he's trying to get like the third egg of Cleopatra, and that's the opening scene basically. So I don't want to. I'm going to kind of summarize it quite quickly because I know I end up doing like 10-minute summaries. So, yes, The Rock's character. I know, pretty much. So, The Rock's character, yes, goes after Ryan Reynolds' character, like the world's most wanted con man, and then they end up bumping into who's called Gal Gadot's character, called the Bishop. And then the story unravels from there. They go on this sort of escapade of crime and trying to like go after each other, and it reaches the sort of final clash towards the end with certain twists and turns throughout the entire story.
That's the most cryptic, non-spoiler summary I've ever heard.
So yeah, I know. Well, we'll get to spoilers at the end. Okay. So yeah,
you've been warned.
But what did you think anyway?
I liked it. It was
I know you liked it more than me.
I liked it. I went in there because Pat watched it before I did, and he was saying everything he was looking at, he hated it, and I was like, okay, that's going to mean one of two things. It's either going to be one that I'm going to hate it because I'm going to look out for it all, or two, I'm actually going to like it, like the way I like Fast and Furious and he hates it. But yeah, I watched it. It was the second one. I liked it. So I like the fact that it didn't feel it like. You walked into it feeling like it was sort of an average, like, I want to say buddy cop, but it's not, because you've got, like, cop and crook kind of work together sort of thing. It's like this sort of, like, you know, buddy action kind of film. That's kind of how it felt like. And I was like, okay, we're just walking into that. And then, like, it got to about the last quarter of it, and they just reveal this massive bombshell of a plot twist. It's like the whole, you know, what if the main character was just, like, the bad guy all along sort of thing. And it's like, it was kind of like that sort of twist, and you kind of spoiler, and you kind of realize that okay, it's not sacred anymore. And I hate the fact that I hate the fact I wasn't smart enough to figure this out earlier, but it's like there was so many like small subtle hints and clues spread out throughout the whole film. Like for instance, their conversation in the opening part when they're in it's a museum, isn't it? Is it a museum or Coliseum? I can't remember now.
It's a museum, yeah.
Where
like
they have that conversation about like, oh, how do I know like if you're the good guy or if you're the bad guy or whatever, because you're not producing a badge. And Dwayne Johnson's like, you know, I'm the bad guy and I'm going to shoot you in the mouth if you don't give me the egg. For a split moment, you're meant to believe it, but then you know, because you don't really know the characters well enough, but it's all just like exposition waiting for you for that like moment where it just reveals to you, shits on you in the face that yes, he is the bad guy. And it's so much that just like dumps on you. The timeline confused me. Really confused me because like they were like, did it say 56 hours earlier or 56 hours later?
What part? Because we jumped about a lot.
So after the museum sequence, I swear it said 56 hours earlier, and then it showed Hatley. Is it Hatley? Is that his name? Agent Hatley?
Well, I'm trying to work out what. So before, straight after that,
it goes to Ryan Reynolds' character Booth on the boat, heading back to his like island house.
Yeah, I'm Well, it's probably that's after
Well,
that
it is
event.
after that event, but I swear the
museum.
title card said 56 hours earlier, so I was really confused, unless I just misread it. Like, because it just really screwed with me.
Paying attention to that bit. I remember him. I remember the scene, like transitioning to him on the boat in Bali. I weirdly, okay, I love how they used Bali as well, because that is like the home of all of these like influencers. So the fact that he's like the greatest con man, and then yet all these Instagram influencers in real life all go, I live my best life in Bali. And there's so many references in this film as well.
And they all come from Ryan Reynolds. It's just him like playing his like natural, because Ryan Reynolds is just known these days, especially since doing Deadpool, that he just plays all these like fourth wall breaking, Easter egg making characters who've just like revealed like every incontextual detail about
full of sarcasm
the,
and just
the chronicles of the universe of the franchise in which the character he is playing in it. Like, there's one scene, I said to Pat about this a few minutes ago. Like they get to the forest and they're like, because they're finding the location for the third egg, and they're walking down like these. They find this passageway on the ground in the forest, and they're walking down it, and he's just got the torch, and then he just starts whistling Indiana Jones, and it's just for fuck's sake. Why?
I hated the first reference. I was on Discord with you earlier when I was watching it.
And I haven't watched it yet.
Don't Fight Club it because there's a prison scene. This just doesn't spoil anything. It's just spoiling the way. It's a spoiler of the first reference. It is a reference, kind of. Really, I think it is a reference considering it's massively linked to Fight Club and the fact that like Brad Pitt's character in Fight Club is like makes soap for explosives, and this is where Ryan Reynolds' character comes in with the rock, and then they go, what happens when you mix this with soap with this and nitroglycerin? Bang! And like, why? Why do we need the Fight Club reference? And then the next one is pretty much it's Indiana Jones, because they're just in the middle of like Argentina, and they're looking for this egg surrounded by just Temple of Doom looking shit. And The Last Crusade.
The first book I ever read. Just still not properly though.
But it's and then I think like the last reference was literally just they're looking in this like sort of bunker / like old mine from when these like Nazis hid like the third egg of Cleopatra's like third egg that they're trying to get, and they were like the Rock and Reynolds were walking through, and it's just like, well, where do we find it? It's on a box somewhere, probably called MacGuffin or something. It's like, really. There's a lot of moments like that though in it, but yeah, it's from someone that doesn't like it as much as Ollie does. I think that it's, generally speaking, your average film. You know, it is the average Rock film. It's the average like film that you'd expect Ryan Reynolds to star in. It's got because I feel like a lot of his roles are they're all based around him. It's the same with The Rock. In fact, I feel like for me, Jungle Cruise was one of the first ones.
What proves that is the line about Dwayne Johnson, because like when they're walking into the museum for the first time and they're like describing what his role is, like I think to myself, well, Dwayne Johnson doesn't look like that kind of guy at all. And then someone literally said, "You don't look like a what's the role called again? I literally can't remember what it's called."
Well, he's a guy that like
he basically
just looks at profiles.
He doesn't look like a profiler. Yeah, that's what it was. It's like, you don't look like a profiler. It's like I hear that a lot. And it's like, well, yeah, because you don't. You look like, that's literally the joke, because you literally look like a fucking Hulk on steroids. Like, you know, why would you be a profiler? You should be on WWE. Oh wait, yeah, sort of thing. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, overall, it's just the type of film you'd expect them to be in. Hence the case they are. And I'm glad if you do like it. I'm glad Ollie likes it. If you like as much as you can, really, with these type of films. I just think that we've reached a point with Ryan Reynolds where, don't get me wrong, I love his sarcasm, I love his humor, I love his fourth wall breaking, and there's a place for it. But literally every film he's in, almost, Free Guy was the only one that actually had the opportunity for so many fourth wall breaks, but they didn't use the opportunity. And then in this film, it's just like there's a MacGuffin, there's a foreshadowing, there's this, there's that, and it just went crazy with it.
He's just
the overall concept was actually really good. It's just certain aspects of it didn't work for me. But I mean, Ollie's here to explain why, for audiences, just bang my desk money, for audiences that hopefully are looking forward to it. If you've only seen a trailer or you're not seen a trailer, why you might, do you want to explain to people why you should like it, really? Because it is definitely your type of thing.
This is probably the best description. It's a film that likes to play hard to get. Just the moment you think you understand, like, who the characters are, like the good guys and the bad guys, literally, like,
yeah,
it just blows you away. It just keeps you wanting more, and it keeps you, like, on your toes about, like, who's fighting the right fight, who's fighting the wrong fight. As cryptic as that sounds, without trying not to,
because there is technically 2 plot twists in this film.
This is kind of like my review to someone who hasn't watched it yet, who would probably want to go into it. But yeah, like, we've already revealed spoilers, so sorry. I just personally think it's like Hollywood's bread and butter of this year, because, like, since the COVID pandemic and, like, we're all getting back into cinemas now, I feel films are being more like they're not being stereotypical anymore with films and concepts. Like, there's so many, like, dark or unpredictable endings, or endings that are just feel really open-ended and unfinished, and it's all like bad guys winning and all that sort of stuff. Like for that, they hinted at it for the last few years, but now, like, 2021 is like every film that's coming out, it's always like the unpredictable, un-Hollywood ending that's now the new Hollywood ending, if that makes sense. And that's kind of, this film is like a prime example of that, with just how it takes it. But it takes it it does it in a very weird way that feels like a good guy win, but bad guy win as well. And it's really complicated. But I think if you guys watch the film, if you haven't already, after hearing me, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's got a lot of complexities. It's like triple cross, triple cross, like quinette cross. It's like just so many like double crosses within double crosses and things. It's just like, I don't know why the film wasn't called that instead of like Red Notice. But yeah, I get it. I get it.
Well, it's got a, like, you've obviously got technically the double cross that is Gal Gadot's character and the guy that hosts this party for all of his, like, fellow
who I thought
people.
Was Paul Rudd
and
for
then
like 5 minutes, just with loads of makeup on.
Wouldn't be surprised given, like, the popularity of this film.
His voice sounded really familiar as well.
Turns out to be
this like really posh English accent. Like,
well, that's what really, like, I was shocked when I first heard him talk for more than like a few seconds, because at the beginning,
because I thought he sounded different.
He was some sort of like Middle Eastern.
When he said like
had this perfect British voice, I'm like,
what?
What?
When he spoke to like Dwayne, because when he spoke to Dwayne Johnson about like, oh, I'm jealous that you're dancing with this like beautiful girl, like my house party sort of thing, and then he barges past it. Like during that bit, he was just like, he felt very like average, but then he just put on this like posh boy accent until he took his shirt off, and then he changed up.
What are you doing with my egg?
And I was like, why are you changing your voice? You sound pretty like much Lucius Malfoy after taking like, some high pill or something like that. But like, what are you doing? But yeah, he's just and he kept resurrecting. I felt like I was like, he kept getting killed and then like like that sort of thing, and I was just like, am I watching The Conjuring or some shit right now? Like, what is this? Ryan Reynolds fucking screaming when he was just like drunk, shooting around everywhere. It's like, that's fucking hilarious.
God damn it! It was certainly an interesting film. It had like a couple of things you don't see coming, like your typical plot twist does. I think Ryan Reynolds, it's definitely a film. If you're a Ryan Reynolds fan, you'll like it. If you're a The Rock fan, you'll like it.
Or if you're a Gal Gadot, if you're a Wonder Woman fan, like, Gal Gadot, you'll like it.
She's some visual relief as well for guys or gals that like her as well. That's literally referenced in the film as well, because of how every time she walks in somewhere, Ryan Reynolds has to make a reference like,
You look
"You
awful,
look
boy.
awful."
Yeah.
Oh, but it's one of those films. So yes, link below if you want to see it. Trailer as well.
And who directed it again? Did you say it was the same person who did? Or am I wrong?
No, this is a new one.
It's not the same.
This is a new one. It's because that was another film we're on about. This is directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber, who has made things
No,
most known
never
for.
heard.
And what's he most known for?
Don't know.
Oh, he done Skyscraper. He done We're the Millers.
Brilliant.
He's
Two
done,
films I have seen.
Central Intelligence. He's done
Heard of that? Haven't
a
seen
lot actually.
My balls, David.
Is that a wedding ringer? He's done a lot of comedies, so yeah, that's why the comedy worked in this film at least. Like it's quite surprising when someone that doesn't do a certain genre of film do it, and it either works very, very well, Joker, or doesn't. I'm trying to think of a good reference for doesn't work. But yes, there we go. Red Notice, available now on Netflix. And yeah, we'll see you for I'll probably be doing a review on the Card Counter, whether that's come out or not. Oscar Isaac film.
And speaking of Oscar
film.
Isaac, because it's Friday the 12th of November, it's Disney Plus Day. There's new Marvel trailers for Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac, and She-Hulk that are out, and Miss Marvel as well. We've also got a new Hawkeye trailer that's come out because the first two episodes come out on the 24th of November. They've announced new Marvel shows such as Echo, who's going to be appearing in Hawkeye. They've released the logos for the Ironheart series, the Secret Invasion series with a promo. It's not a still; it's like a GIF almost of like Samuel L. Jackson just like turning his head around as Nick Fury's got a beard. That's for Secret Invasion. I Am Groot new series is coming out. Agatha, House of Harkness. That sounds interesting. What else was there? There was a few others. I saw it a moment ago. See if I can find it again.
And this is your little Marvel outro, indeed. Definitely check these out as well. Disney Plus
Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, said that. A new animated Spider-Man series called Spider-Man Freshman Year, which is a Marvel Studios product, but I don't know if that's going to be set in the MCU or not, but I know it's animated. The I Am Groot series, said about that. Secret Invasion. X-Men 97, which is also a Marvel Studios product, but I don't know if that's MCU related or not. And yeah, I think I've Marvel Zombies as well, which could be animated, might not be, but I don't know. That'll be interesting. And Loki and What If season 2 as well.
Oh, of course, the big ones.
So yeah, those are all the new things that Marvel have got up their sleeves for 2022 after Hawkeye. And there'll be more announcements later on. There's a Baymax series coming out as well, or Baymax movie they've released a trailer for. And I think my sister sent me a trailer for Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, if anyone's a fan of Ice Age. But yeah. But yeah, so I'll be watching that in a minute as well. Because I don't mind Ice Age, it's alright. Family film, innit? But yeah, I know people aren't big on animations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely worth the check out, I think, for this film. Probably not the one I'm going to be like screaming my head off. During the action sequence in the museum, my first thought kind of was, "This is insane. Where's the sequel?" But like now, after watching it, it's like I feel like it kind of
works
as its own thing. But I think,
speaking of sequels, did you see how it ended?
There wasn't a post-credit scene, was there?
No, but the
I
whole
knew that
setup for a
second
one.
Yeah, but I feel like, do you need that, or is that just like the explanation? Is that an explanation we don't need to see it, or is that?
Do you feel they need one?
Not really. I kind of feel like it explains everything they were going to do.
We've won! The film industry has won Oliver Cordova. Yes!
I kind of felt like they
They have set up a second one, and he doesn't even think they need
because
it.
they explained everything they were going to do if they did a sequel, which they don't do if they're going to make one, because it just gives too much away.
Well, they have. They're literally at the location of where the second one would start at the Louvre. I don't think they need one at all, but I reckon they will make one.
Are they going to call it Red Notice 2?
What do you think? Comment below. Probably. Red Noticed. What a dumb name is that? Oh, God. Right. Anyway. Thanks for watching.
Before we
like, subscribe, comment.
I'm running out of even more things to say. We'll see you later.
Thanks for watching, peeps. Bye-bye.
I'm going to go get a crunchy chocolate bar.
I need to finish this ice cream as well.
What ice cream?
Just some, like, cheesecake thing.
Cheesecake ice cream?
Just some cheesecake thing. That's fantastic. I just started recording. That's brilliant.
It was going to explode there.
Why did I blow up?
Brilliant.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
Right.